Dark Web is a Marvel comic book event heading your way later this year starting in November 2022 and slated to wrap in February 2023. It will pit Spider-Man, the X-Men, and likely Venom against Ben Reilly, now known as Chasm, and Madeline Pryor, current ruler of Limbo and the Goblin Queen. Who will come out on top? Why is everyone fighting? And more importantly, what do we most want to see in this event? Hi, it's me, Amanda, and I have some thoughts. Number 10. The team up of a lifetime returns. Everyone's favorite team up of Mary Jane and Black Cat is back, baby! And as part of the Dark Web event, we are getting a two-parter where MJ and Black Cat get thrown in limbo. A lot has changed for these ladies since we last saw them teaming up, especially in the ways of romance. Peter and MJ are no longer together, and we still don't know why. Could this be the team up where that secret is spilled? According to the solicits, both these ladies seem to be keeping secrets. Also, you know, Black Cat and Peter also are apparently dating again, so maybe that's Black Cat's secret she hasn't told MJ yet. Number 9. Ben Reilly. I feel like while we got a good amount of Ben Reilly in the Beyond event and in his own flashback miniseries, it really only left me hungry for even more Ben in my life. Ben Reilly is such an awesome character and one who has had a really rough past. I mean, you think Peter's had it rough? I feel like his clones have somehow had it even worse. Likely because they have memories of a life they can't really live because, you know, Peter's busy living it because, well, I mean, it was his life first. That has to be tough. Add in the fact that Ben has died and been brought back on repeat to the point that he lost his mind, became a villain, albeit kind of an altruistic one, disappeared, had his sin cleansed, with that being the explanation for basically why he turned evil in the first place somehow, only to come back to get to be the hero but then be manipulated into turning evil again as Chasm, and I mean, yeah, it's been rough. So I am excited to have him more prominently featured because I'm hoping that Dark Web will be a path that leads us to some kind of balance with Ben and possibly even result in a recurring supporting character role once more in Amazing Spider-Man, which was kind of what I was hoping was going to happen with Beyond. But hey, then we got Chasm, which I'm still cool with. Can we get to a place where Ben can be like a hero for a bit? That would be nice. Number 8. More Faceless Uncle Ben. Something that kept coming up in the Beyond story arc, which evidently leads into Dark Web, was a faceless version of Uncle Ben who existed within Ben's dreams. This makes a lot of sense after we learn that Ben's been exposed to having his mind wiped kind of on repeat by Beyond. Something he apparently consented to, but of course doesn't really remember consenting to because, you know, mind wipes. As such, some of his base memories that were embedded in his mind since he was cloned have been accidentally erased or warped, hence why he keeps having dreams of a faceless Uncle Ben, with a black web-edged hole where, you know, his face would be. This was one of the creepiest elements of the Beyond run, which definitely had some horror feels to it. I hope the horror feels carry through into Dark Web, and I hope as we dive deeper into what's going on with Ben, aka Chasm, we also get another chance to see faceless Uncle Ben return to haunt Ben's and likely our own nightmares. I just really think that's a creepy thing. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, please let us know by hitting that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed yet, you should be because we talk about cool stuff. I promise. Number 7. Janine Godbe. There is a mystery character included on some of the promo material for Dark Web, and something else I noticed: a severe lack of Janine Godbe. For those unfamiliar with Janine, she is Ben's old flame who ended up turning herself in for killing her father, though she really only killed him in self-defense as he was severely mistreating Janine, whose given name is actually Elizabeth Tyne, but she doesn't like to be called Elizabeth, she likes to be called Janine. Years later, Ben and Janine were reunited. This happened recently in the comics when Janine was temporarily released from prison, or I guess rather custody of her imprisonment was transferred instead to the Beyond Corporation. This was part of Beyond's plan to help cement Ben Reilly as the new Spider-Man, and it kinda like help control him really, by getting him and Janine back together but sort of like kind of holding her hostage also. Yeah. Number 6. Hallow's Eve. The mystery character on the cover is known as Hallow's Eve. Not only does she have a rad design, but I feel like she's likely Janine. okay? Because we don't have Janine on the cover, which kind of makes me happy because if Janine isn't featured in Dark Web, I would actually be pretty sad about that. I was actually really excited for her return and I enjoyed her character development in Beyond, so I would love to see what happens next in Janine's story. I could see her joining up with her boyfriend Ben, possibly being turned against her will, but also very likely just being swayed by Madeline and Ben's arguments about how they are always getting the short end of the stick. I mean, even I would be tempted to join the pair, especially if it means I get to wear a cool costume costume like the one Hallows Eve sports. I'm just saying. Also, they got some points, you know? They both have been, I think, pretty poorly treated. Number 5. Chasm's redemption. I think one of the saddest things at the end of the Beyond Spider-Man event was that Ben Reilly chose to basically just end it rather than go on. Peter didn't want to let Ben die, but Ben was struggling to find anything to anchor him after losing a lot of his memories. I personally was really sad that Ben had been brought back only to die shortly after retaking the title of Spider-Man. For fans of Ben Reilly, of which I know there are at least a few of you out there, this was a likely disappointing turn of events. I myself am one of the folks who wants to see a redemption arc for Ben here, and I'm hoping that in his journey as the possible villain Chasm, that he will find his way back to the values of heroism once more and find himself again. It really sucks that Ben seems to be stuck in an endless cycle of just flip-flopping back and forth between villain and hero. I just want him to be a hero for a little while longer than Beyond lasted. Number 4. Inferno 3.0. Well, we already have the original X-Men story Inferno, where Madeline Pryor and her demons infiltrate the Earth in New York, and in addition to that, the recent modern X-Men event, also named Inferno, where Moira McTaggart is revealed to everyone as being alive, and later also revealed as a traitor to mutant kind, and Destiny is resurrected. It would be really cool to see another version of Inferno. I know it's so soon after we just got an Inferno, but we're actually going to presumably have Maddie once more in her Goblin Queen attire in New York City, and she is now the ruler of Limbo, so it'd be pretty easy for her to return again with a demon army if she wanted. Just saying. I feel like this should also be called Inferno, but I guess too many Infernos, so we gotta go with Dark Web. Or maybe it means something else. I don't know. Number 3. Goblin Queen and Chasm save the day? I also kinda want the Dark Web to be an event that takes us in a direction that we weren't actually expecting. I want this to be a misdirect event. That's right. I want it to be like the Ten of Swords tournament, which was, yeah, that was a whole other event that was a misdirect, and I loved it. What we know so far with Dark Web is that both Ben and Maddie forge an alliance based around their thirst for revenge. But what if the whole story isn't exactly as black and white as the Goblin Queen and Chasm being the villains, and Spidey, Venom, and the X-Men being the heroes? Other than Venom, who, I'm not going to lie, he feels a little bit random for this event, Spider-Man and the X-Men might actually be the people to blame here for whatever plan Chasm and the Goblin Queen have cooking. After all, they're kind of the heroes who created these foes. Ben Reilly basically became a villain again this time around because he felt he was being abandoned and possibly rejected by Peter. And Maddie, well, she was rejected by the mutants for a long time, and long ago was abandoned by the X-Men and her ex-husband Scott Summers. I'm just saying, maybe Ben and Maddie aren't going to be straight up villains, but this will be more of an event with a lot of gray areas for many of its cast and characters. I personally would be really down for that because I think it's pretty complicated. Also, Madeline was kind of being a good character sort of for a while, and now she's evil again? I don't know about that. Number 2. Dark Web. Capital D-A-R-K, Dark. Well, as I said earlier, Venom's presence here does feel a little random. I mean, other than the fact that, this event is obviously Spider-Man related and Venom is also part of that verse. What if they're actually more of a key player than we thought they were? After all, the title of the event isn't Web of Death or Tangled Web or Demon Web, it's Dark Web. What if the symbiotic goo is meant to be the dark part of that title? So perhaps somehow the symbiotes are actually more involved in this event than we've been led to believe, and could even be behind some of the chaos of whatever is going on within the event. I don't know what that'll be, but I'd be interested to see what that is and why Venom is here. Number 1. Gold Goblin. Gold Goblin is a character that I think a lot of us are eager to see. Gold Goblin is Norman Osborn reimagined as not a villain, but a hero. Hence why he's golden, baby! I think it's interesting that despite Norman trying to take on a hero role, rather than pretending to be a different persona entirely, he is in a way embracing his past and all the bad stuff he did by taking on the mantle of Goblin again. This is something that's kind of unique for Norman, who generally prefers to leave his past behind when posing as a hero. Of course, in the past he was doing just that, he was posing. This time around he seems to genuinely want to make amends and act as a bona fide and sincere hero, both likely as an ally to Peter and simply as an individual in his own right, wanting to make amends for everything he's done in the past. The question is, what will civilians think of the Goblin's new look and supposed alignment change after years of him brutally attacking Spider-Man and New York City? Because I know if I had known the Green Goblin for years and then someone was like, hey, I'm the Gold Goblin and I'm a hero, I'd be like, I don't know if I trust you. I cannot wait for this event, and it starts in my B-Day month. Yay! That's gonna be so fun. That's all we have for today in Nerd Squad. I'll see you next time, but until then, you stay nerdy, YouTube. Bye!